Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Jay's Retro Toys and Games. Season 2 is still here. Episode 43 is upon us today on this Monday, January 16th, 2023. Today we have a look at a game, an interesting skill game where you're the doctor. Oh yeah, that's right. A physical game of skill that tests players' eye-hand coordination and fine motor skills. The game's prototype was invented in 1964 by John Spinello, a University of Illinois industrial design student at the time, who sold his rights to the game to renowned toy designer Marvin Glass for a sum of $500 and the promise of a job upon graduation, a promise that was not upheld. Initially produced by Milton Bradley in 1965, this game is currently made by Hasbro with an estimated franchise worth $40 million. The game is a variant of the old-fashioned electrified wire loop game popular at fun fairs. It consists of an operating table lithographed with a comic likeness of a patient named Cavity Sam, with a large red light bulb for his nose. On the surface are several openings, which reveal cavities filled with fictional and humorously named ailments made of plastic. The general gameplay requires players to remove these plastic ailments with a pair of tweezers without touching the edge of the cavity opening. What are we looking at today? Operation is the game, and we're doing it right now on Jay's Retro Toys and Games. Episode 43 is upon us. I'm your host, Jason DeCanio, welcoming you to another edition of Jay's Retro Toys and Games. Let's get on with Operation today. We look at this interesting game that came out in 1965, some 57 years ago. Unbelievable, right? You would think, for what it was worth, that the game would have been out much earlier. But, in retrospect, John Spinello knew what he was doing back in 1965. Well, Operation includes two sets of cards, the Doctor and the Specialist, and the Specialist cards are dealt out evenly amongst the players at the start of the game, and any extra cards are removed from play. The Doctor cards are shuffled to form a deck and placed face down. Now, in the US and Australian versions, players take turns drawing the top Doctor card from the deck, offering a cash payment for removing a particular ailment. The player in control uses a pair of tweezers, dubbed Electro Probe in earlier versions, connected to the board by a wire to remove the piece without touching the metal edges of the cavity in which it rests. Successfully doing so awards the value on the card, while a failure gives the player holding the Specialist card for that ailment, if any, a chance to remove it for double value. Now, if the Specialist card holder also fails, or if no player is holding it, the Doctor card is returned to the bottom of the deck. Cards of both types are put out of play as their ailments are removed. If a player draws a particular Doctor card while holding the corresponding Specialist card, he or she may deliberately fail the first attempt in order to have a second chance for double value. The winner is the player with the most money after all ailments have been removed. The game can be difficult due to the shapes of the plastic ailments and the fact that the openings are barely larger than the pieces themselves. Play pieces. Well, there's the Adam's apple, the apple in the throat for $100. The term Adam's apple is colloquial and refers to the thyroid cartilage surrounding the larynx that becomes more visually prominent during puberty. You have the broken heart, a heart shape with a crack through it on the right side of the chest, $100. The phrase broken heart refers to an emotional feeling in which someone is very sad for any reasons, such a person's breakup with their romantic partner. You've got the wrenched ankle. A wrench in the right ankle, $100. The term wrenched ankle is alternative for a sprained ankle. Butterflies in the stomach. A large butterfly in the middle of the torso. Its name comes from the feeling in the stomach when feeling nervous, excited, or afraid. Worth $100. You have the spare ribs. 2 ribs that are fused together as one piece. $150. Spare ribs are a cut of meat or a dish prepared from that cut. Water on the knee. A pail of water in the knee. $150. The term water on the knee is colloquial and refers to fluid accumulation around the knee joint. The funny bone. A cartoon-styled bone. $200. And this is a reference to the colloquial term of the distal portion of the ulnar nerve, which is vulnerable to an injury at the elbow. Then you have the Charlie horse, a small horse that rests near the hip joint for $200. Charlie horse is a sudden spasm in the leg or foot that usually can be cured by massage or stretching. It also looks like a rocking horse. Then you have rider's cramp, which is a pencil in the forearm for $200. A rider's cramp is soreness in the wrist that usually can be cured by resting it. Ankle bone connected to the knee bone. A rubber band that must be stretched between 2 pegs at the left ankle and the knee. This is the only non-plastic piece in the game and the only card that requires the player to insert rather than remove something. $200. Its name is taken from the African-American spiritual of dem bones. Then you have the wishbone. A wishbone similar to that of a chicken located on the left side of the chest for $300. The term wishbone is colloquial for the furcula, which is a bone that can be found in birds and other animals. Traditionally, a chicken's furcula may be used by 2 people for making competing wishes. Then you have the brain freeze, an ice cream cone located in the brain. It refers to the experience of brain freeze, a headache felt after consuming frozen desserts and ice drinks too quickly for $600. This was added in 2004 when Milton Bradley allowed fans a chance to vote on a new piece to be added to the original game during the previous year, during the promotion of What's Ailing Sam. Voters had been given 3 choices and could make their selection via the company's official website or by phone for a chance to win a $5,000 shopping spree. The winning piece had Beat Out, Tennis Elbow, and Growling Stomach. And finally, there's the bread basket, a slice of bread and one of the most difficult pieces to remove, with a small notch taken out of the top for grip. $1,000 if you can get it. The word bread basket is a slang name for the stomach. In 2009, Hasbro released the first major update to Operation called Operation Sound Effects. This is the first version of Operation to remove the buzzer and cards in place of a speaker. This meant that the game could call out the ailment needed to be removed by the player by using an audio cue, such as a twang sound for the rubber band and a busy tone for the cell phone. Players have to press Sam's nose every time they successfully remove an ailment. If all the ailments were removed and Sam's nose was pressed on the final called ailment, the game would play a victory song. It also includes a standard game of Operation by sliding the power button to the lightning bolt setting. Licensed variations of Operation based on popular intellectual properties also exist, such as multiple versions of a Spider-Man themed Operation where the titular Marvel superhero is the patient the player must treat, as well as a Fallout one where the player must treat Vault-Tech's mascot, Vault Boy, in which a RAD's alarm replaces Sam's nose buzzer. A video game app was also released and is only available on mobile devices. In 2020, Hasbro introduced a new variation of the game called Operation Pet Scan, in which players have to remove objects from a dog's digestive tract. The Dutch version of the game is called Dr. Bibber, which translates to Dr. Shaky. And there you have it, friends. More you can find at the homepage at Hasbro and at Board Geek as well. Simple, yet been around for the past 57 years, the game of Operation. And it's a game that I had some very unexpected flops in my time. Of course, if you played the game on a regular basis, you got to know where things were. However, over the course of the time, many kids lost pieces of those particular ailments, and it came down to a point where replacements were hard to get. So, mainly trying to find replacements to fit in those particular boxes or those little holes was harder than we thought. Also, too, the batteries really did get drained a lot on the game. And, of course, sometimes after a while, Sam's nose did not light up. So, the pros and the cons of the game, if I had to rate this game over the course of the times that I played it, it was very hard. And no matter what age you played it, you always had a hard time trying to get that ailment. From my point of view, the game had pretty good stuff going for it. It was a fun game, and those who thought they could do well really did fail sometimes. But overall, it's a game to make you challenge and get your motor skills going at the same time. Milton Bradley and Marvin Glass, also John Spinello, thank you for your continual support in a game that stood the test of time and has continually been updated all of these years. On Wednesday, we're going to look at a toy that I think is amazing. I find it amazing because we're going to look at a list of toys and go from there. Let's see. List of toys. Let's look at some more things here. We're going to look at, we looked at construction toys. We looked at, let's see. Okay, one of the things that we haven't seen is some creative toys. And the first thing we're going to look at, we've already did Lego, and we haven't done color forms yet. Color forms is going to be interesting. Remember those? Those were like Shrinky Dinks. Yeah, exactly. So that was Shrinky Dinks is what they acquired the rights to license for. But it's all under the Color Forms company. The creative toy named for the simple shapes and forms cut from colored vinyl sheets that cling to smooth backing surface without adhesives. We'll look at that. Came out in 1951. And we'll look at it on Wednesday's episode 44 of Jay's Retro Toys and Games. I'm Jason DeCanio, thanking you very much for another great episode. We hope you're having fun with it. Remember, of course, support the YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't yet. We'd love to have you as part of our family that continues to grow to this day. We thank you for the continued views, and we also thank you for everything you do possible to make this channel continually grow at its pace. We will see you on Wednesday. Have a great day. Bye for now.
Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to the David3000 Network for great more content like this one.